Welcome to Empire Builder Unfiltered, the real talk podcast for entrepreneurs who aren't here to play small. I'm Martha Mazur, CEO, business coach, your mentor, and a straight shooter who's built, scaled, and stumbled through business over the past 18 years. Around here, we don't sugarcoat the journey. We talk about what it really takes to build something that lasts. The mindset, the strategy, the setbacks, the breakthroughs, and all the messy, powerful growth in between. If you're building something, if you're building an empire and tired of surface level advice, you're in the right place. Let's get unfiltered. Welcome back to another episode of Empire Builder Unfiltered. And I am so excited today to welcome my friend RaeEllen Ellis. She is not only a friend of mine, but she is a visionary strategist, speaker, and a founder whose work sits at the intersection of mental health, innovation, and rewriting every woman's story to be rooted in confidence, joy, and faith. With over a decade experience across the behavioral health industry, RaeEllen has built the reputation for turning vision into breakthrough and a fragmented system into sustainable growth. She's the founder of UpLevel, a consulting firm for mental health and addiction treatment providers seeking to enhance operations, marketing, admissions, and outcomes. So if you're in the business, she's your girl. Through customized strategies, the accountable training, RaeEllen partners with leadership teams to streamline access. Also, this is what excites me the most. She is the creator and founder of Create the Table. RaeEllen leads a growing movement of women returning to body love, joy, and confidence. Born from her own journey, hear me tight, her own journey of healing after years of disordered eating and striving for worth, the platform offers both free and premium spaces, from monthly on community gatherings to in-person events where women gather to grow, laugh, and remember who they are in God. Wow. She also co-founded Kingdom Consulting Solutions, a concierge placement and navigation service designated to support Christian families seeking behavioral health care. So without further ado, RaeEllen, welcome to the show. Where do we begin, my friend?
Thank you. Thank you for having me. This is so exciting. I'm so grateful.
Well, I just love your heart because not only are you a professional and a successful entrepreneur in a lot of avenues, you support other entrepreneurs in the mental health space, which is, we all know, so important and a really great work. And you've had your own journey, right? And I think that is what I love the most about you is it's really easy to create something and help others, but when you have your own story, stories sell. And I don't mean sell like, hey, I want to make a buck, which is fine. Making money is okay too. But really, stories connect. And you have a very uh, powerful story. So
Yeah.
tell us about your story and what made you create the table.
Yeah. So my story is layered and complex. But to put it simply and to just like chat a little bit with y'all, I grew up in dance. I went from dance to cheerleading. I went from cheerleading to being a personal trainer. My identity as I grew up from 5 years old into my mid 20s was wrapped in performance. It was wrapped in my appearance, um, how I looked, how I sounded, how I showed up, how much I could do. I graduated from college at 20 years old with a major and a double minor, working full time, taking over 20 units a quarter. And it was just literally no sleep, and how can I show up and how can I be better? And dare I use the word perfect? Was the, as you said, intersection of my whole life was that striving for perfectionism. So that took me through my 30s and climbing the corporate ladder and learning and growing and starting my own company, which was fantastic on the outside. And on the inside, I was like so many of my friends, the voices inside of my head. There were days I didn't want to look in a mirror. There were days that I shamed myself, that I was the words that I said to myself, I wouldn't say to my best friend or my worst enemy.
Mhm.
And I think that that's true across the bridges of a lot of women and their hearts and how they talk to themselves.
Oh, yeah.
The more and more I do this work, the more I hear that. So, um, when for 10 years of my life, I suffered from disordered eating. Some days it was small and non threatening to myself, my body, people around me. And for a couple of years, it was chaos and the center of my world. And I lived and died by calories, workouts, and um, anorexia, bulimia, all the things until I got the help that I needed at the time. And I think that through that journey, I saw a lot of what works and what doesn't work. And one of the main things that I noticed was when you go through some kind of treatment around the body, um, whether it's eating disorders or depression or anxiety or even accidents, which we'll get into a little bit later, but there's a lot of shame when I walked out of treatment. There was a group of people that were like, can't say no to anything. There was a place that was like, you need to eat a cheeseburger with a donut and all this kind of stuff just to like prove, that you're over
Mm.
your eating disorder, which is insane. Like, who eats a cheeseburger on a donut bun? And then there was other groups of people that were like, you can't gain a pound. You have to prove that you like beat this battle, but you can't gain weight. And there was all these different schools,
Mm.
camps, and thoughts. And no matter what way I turned, I couldn't turn right. And I think we connected over the thing that I posted on Instagram about Megan Trainor a while back. That she was being, when she was her beautiful self, people were, oh my gosh, you're so fat, you're so this, you're so that, using all of the words. And then she, has since lost some weight. And now it's, oh my gosh, I thought she was like this embodiment for women and all these things. And how could she be so thin? How could she do this to us? She looked better before. And we're in this culture where we just can't win, no matter what
Yeah.
side we're on. So, yeah, so I created Create the Table. And the table is really a literal and symbolic table where women are welcome for who they are, no matter what they're struggling with, no matter what that looks like. Like I said, if it's full anorexia or if it's just, hey, I'm not feeling confident and I'm talking to myself in this negative way. We can help through community, through radical compassion, through joyful embodiment, and we're rooted in faith. And so, what better way to come into who we are than with a community of women who are non-judgmental, who rally around you, who love you and support you, and also deal with all the same things that you deal with, so you feel like you're not alone.
Yeah, that's so powerful. I think, we all have a story of what we would tell that little girl, that teenage self, our 20-year-old self and our 30-year-old self. And I think we don't talk about this enough because of the shame, because it I think sometimes it's even hard for people to talk about it and relive,
Mhm.
but we forget that, there's probably someone else struggling with that, and it's okay to talk about it. And I think
Yeah.
there's even more healing when you can talk and you can help others as well. That's why I think the work that you do is
Yes.
important. And to me it's crazy because as I mean, you are in behavioral health. That is your business.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you see this more often than not.
Yeah.
And it's probably not even isolated to just females.
Mhm.
But you
Not at
know,
all.
I,
Not at all.
yeah. What would you say are some of the things, if we have a mother listening or even just another person struggling, what is a good starting point where maybe you something's got to change, but you just don't know what first step to take?
Mm, yeah. That's a great question. I mean, the first step is what we have learned and identified is the hardest step. Because once you take that first step, there's typically, hopefully, someone there to meet you. So whether you're making a call to reach out to a friend to say, hey, I think this might be a problem. I don't know what to, how to, where to go next, or I'm just not feeling great about X, Y, and Z. This chaos has kind of taken over my life, and I feel like I'm in a spiral. And every decision that I make, I'm feeling shameful or guilty or regretful. And it's like this cycle, and it makes low self-esteem, low confidence, and then that makes to chaotic life. And it goes round and round and round. And it's let's pause in that and see really what do we need? Do we need to be closer with God? Do we need a circle of connection of people that support us? Do we need one-on-one support with a therapist or a coach? Like, what does that look like? And do you have somebody that can carve that out and walk that through with you to figure out what the next steps are? And, who is that person and who do you identify with? And who do you connect with in that way that will help you walk through those next steps?
So powerful. Yeah, I think that it's always the first step, right? That,
Mhm,
the first step will lead to the second step, and
mhm.
it's one foot in front of the other. I tell my teenage sons, and they're like, "Mom, I don't know, what to do after school, after this and that." I'm like, "One step in front of the other. You don't need to know it all. You don't need to figure it out
Yeah.
completely. You just need to take one step at a time." And sometimes it sounds easy to us, but when you're in that journey or process and you're feeling stuck, we just stay in the stuck because we don't know what first step to take. But
Yeah. We
taking
have to
that first
ground
call, or
ourselves.
yeah, or reaching out to someone like you, or to you, and I know you have an app coming. I Tell us a little bit about that, because I think that's so important with technology today. Sometimes that's a good first step, right? That
Yes.
step will lead you to the next step.
Yes, for sure. And all of these like speed bumps that we're talking about here that, we want to encourage you not to turn them into roadblocks. Like let's not get
Mm,
stuck in them. Like let's keep going. So yes, so createthetable.com has many different platforms. One of them is an app. It's a free app. There's a community of women in there. We do monthly virtual meetings. There's access to one-on-one support if that's something that you need. And there's access to, smaller group spaces and more intimate gatherings. But the app as a whole will get you all together, start as a first step, have information in there for you about where to start, who we are, who you can connect with, resources, all of those kinds of good things. And I was just talking, with you before the call, and just it's so exciting to me that, we're talking about this. I've been doing this work for over a decade. Finally kind of put pen to paper and was like, how can I help more people, more women with this? And in the last 2 weeks, 5 moms have reached out to me and said, hey, I have a 17-year-old, I have a
mhm.
14-year-old. Can they come to create the table? And how powerful if we can get them at that age and change the way that they think about themselves and view themselves and bring that joyful feeling about themselves, that sometimes is taken away from them, especially in this age of social media. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, so we're creating a space on there for teenage girls as well. So that'll be exciting
That's
step too.
That's amazing. And, it's such a moldable age, right? The
Yeah.
decisions we make revolve around how we feel, how we see ourselves. And, can you dream? Can you dream big? Do you think you're worthy? Do you, is there shame? Like,
Yes.
there's so much involved in that season. I think that never stops, but that is a very pivotal season in a woman's life, is those teenage molding
Yes.
years. And I'm so excited for you, because I think, again, when we go through pain, uh, creating purpose around that is so powerful.
Mhm.
And we take back what the enemy tried to steal, and you just like, look, take it, here you go,
Yes.
take that. you're not
Yes.
you're not winning anymore. We're taking more people with us. So Yeah,
And
I
the enemy
agree.
knows where the cracks are, right? So if we struggled with this at 18 and maybe we feel better by 35 and then something's happening and there's a crack and he can get in, he'll get in right
Ooh.
there. And if it's around
Ooh.
your body and your worth, what better way to tear you down and silence you?
So good. So true. And we were even having that conversation. There's still struggles that I have as a 40-year-old woman, right? Like I have had to accept my body and work on it, right? I've neglected my body for many years and in an
Mhm.
effort to build a business and raise kids, and I just didn't have enough time. My load was extremely heavy. I would start really early, work really late, and I
Yeah,
know people always say, you got to make time and your priorities. Well, my priorities were not myself. And so
100%.
there comes a
Optimistic
time in life
response.
where yeah, so you have to say it's okay to take care of myself, number 1, and number 2, what are the things that I do need to work on, and how do I talk to myself, and how do I see myself?
Yeah,
And I think that even grown women, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, we're still battling with so much of that body image, and our identity revolves around, or our identity and our worth revolves around how we feel and look, or
yeah,
that so we think, right?
yeah,
And I think we need to talk about this more because, again, that's where the enemy creeps in when you don't
yeah.
feel like you belong or that you are pretty enough, tall enough, skinny enough,
All the
whatever
things.
enough. Like it's
I would
just
I would have
ridiculous.
yeah, all the things, the hair, the nose, the chin, like, whatever it is, like, tall, I'm short, I need to be skinnier, I need to be curvier, I need to have this, I need to have that, so, it's we always, like, think that what's there is the goal, but the goal is ourselves, is
Mm,
God made us exactly who we're supposed to be, and we can make the best version of ourselves, but we can't do that by saying negative things to ourselves. We can't do that by tearing ourselves down. We have to lift ourselves
mm,
up, and we have to surround ourselves with the right people who are on that same mission and goal plan. So, and I tell you,
so good.
the thing that I mentioned about speed bumps and roadblocks, if you hit that roadblock and you're still not listening, the enemy is going to come for you hard. Like I had a season where I was just in it and I couldn't release, and I ended up in an accident. I
Mm,
like my whole right leg was destroyed and I had to
mm,
learn how to walk again. And I was spent a year, between
wow.
having to be bedridden for the first 6 months to a wheelchair from somebody who, as you heard in the beginning, cheer, dance, work private trainer, like everything, like not being able to move your body. And at that time, have people taken out of my life that I thought were going to be the ones that would be there for it. Um, it was an experience that 3 people showed up for me that I didn't really know very well from a women's group that I was in and got my Bible from my bedroom, sat it down next to me on the couch, and I just spent that year in the Bible with God, which is exactly where he wanted me to be. But from that, I had to also get coaching, get some love and support around the fact that everything that thoughts that were going through my head around my body and everything like that, it was changing. I wasn't moving. And learning how to love myself as I am, how I show up through God's eyes, and then take that like God, like that pain that God met me in, not my perfection, my pain, and turn it into something for, women to have the same kind of transformation. And I knew I finally had the transformation. I was in my kitchen, I was cooking dinner, and I was dancing to music. There was nothing about, I'm not dancing to burn calories. I'm not dancing because I want to look a certain way. I'm not dancing because I want to impress the boy
Mm,
over here. Like I am dancing because I am healed, and it's something that
mm.
supplement could do for me. And it was a changing moment for me.
Wow. Wow. I love that. I think had it not been, right? Like
Had it not been.
had it not been for a hard season like that, and you finding the right people and you diving into the word and just finding who you really are, like that is a powerful story of sometimes like let's not be the person that needed to get in a car accident to rest and work on ourselves, right? Like if
Yep.
anything, as they say, let's learn from other people's
Yes.
mistakes. I mean,
Yes.
I don't mean that to be
No,
to be silly, but
1000%.
it right, like sometimes we're so hard on ourselves that God, yeah, like you said, God wanted you there, and that's where he met you because that's what
Because
he
I
had.
finally slowed down enough to listen to him because
Mhm.
I thought, "Oh, I'm listening, I'm here, I'm connected." I was disconnected from everything. And he's
Mm.
like, "Okay, here's the wall. You're gonna slow down, you're gonna listen, you're gonna meet me."
And so tell me about that movement. Like, is that something that you currently use as part of your how you work? Or tell us about that dancing and the healing that happens through that. I think it's so wonderful.
Yes. Yeah, so I actually, in that instance was just having fun and being silly and dancing in the kitchen, but the way that I got there was through, these healing movements that are, like, coming home to your body. So if you want, I can do, like, a quick go through it, for
Yeah.
everybody. Okay, cool. Because
Yes. Let walk us through it.
usually there's a little bit of, instrumental music or something like that, but we'll just pretend. Okay. So let's take a deep breath and close our eyes and soften your gaze if you can't close your eyes. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your lower belly. Just stay here and feel your breath rise and fall without changing anything. Just notice and be with yourself. Inhale through your nose, exhale through your mouth. Drop your shoulders and do some gentle neck rolls if you're comfortable. You don't have to hold everything right now. Just hold this moment. Okay, slowly sway your hips like a soft figure eight, side to side. There's no right way to do this. Just move gently and let your body guide you. You can continue to sway. You can do a roll of your spine forward and back. You can let your arms hang or rest on your body. Just part of our body as women holds so much.
Mhm.
Our hips are our creation, pressure, life. Keep moving her. And so, out loud at home or in the car or silently to yourself, thank your feet for grounding you. Thank your legs for carrying you forward, even when you're tired. Thank you, hips, for holding your babies if you're a mom, your dreams, your grief. Thank your belly for digesting more than just food, but all of your emotions, your transitions,
Mm.
and everything that you had to hold when you were alone. Thank your heart, your big, beautiful heart, for continuing to love even when it hurt. And thank your body for not giving up on you. Come into stillness, palms open, heart soft. Breathe one more time. Inhale. Slowly exhale. Know that you're not behind, you're not broken, you're not too much. You are a woman made of strength and softness, of spirit and story, of sacred design, and you're welcome in your own body. Come home to yourself, and from that place, everything changes. And that's what it means to create the table with other women in community. Just be and support yourself, your body, and each other. Thank you. Thank you for letting me share that
Yeah.
with your listeners and you.
Thank you. I just got into it, girl.
Amazing.
Yeah, thank you so much. That was awesome. It's so wonderful when we think of the body that God gave us and really truly
Yes.
all everything is connected and we are body, soul and spirit and he works through us and our body does hold so much.
So much.
It is our job to take care of our body. And
Yes.
God created created us, but it is our job to take care of our bodies. And um I think, I was actually having this conversation earlier how, sometimes in the church community or in the church people are like praying for healing and this might be a little taboo, but they're eating sugar or they're not really taking care of their body or consuming things that are not the best for our bodies. And as it relates to whether that is all the different types of healing that we need to go through, whether it could be substance abuse, it could be
Yes.
images, or body dysmorphia, things like that that we may not exactly understand why, but there it's okay to ask for help and
Mhm.
also take care of our bodies so that what are we nourishing, what are we putting in our body, how are we talking to ourselves. And I think that the work that you do is incredible because we need that support. Everything is connected and God does heal. And also, we can partner and say, I'm going to do my part. And I'm going to
Yeah.
trust that you're going to do the things that only you can do, but there's so much that also I can do, and I'm going to take ownership of that. And I'm going to get in community, and I'm going to get the help, and I'm going to, all the
Mm.
things because it's just like in business coaching. I tell people all the time. I actually just had a call before this call. It's like what got us here will get us to the next step. And you might
Yeah.
have success in one pillar of your life. You might be successful in your career, successful mom. And but then you have these secret struggles that people don't, there's shame around perfectionism, about body dysmorphia, about addiction, about,
Yep.
whatever that is for you.
Mhm.
But if you keep silent and you don't ask for help, like there's only
Oof.
so much we can do. It's going to be really
Mhm.
hard
That's the crack the enemy's looking for is to
yeah,
silence your voice.
exactly. It's
Don't reach
getting us
out. Stay there with him.
you got to get in community, you got to get the help, you got to get the right people, not all the people, but the right people to come
Yep.
alongside you. And often it's people like you, right, that have been through that process
Mhm.
and know, like I can talk about other things, and I
Yep.
still have my struggles sometimes with,
Yeah.
the identity of like, how do I look good? Do I do this look, all the things that women tell ourselves. But
For sure.
uh, you know, getting in the right spaces, getting the right help and taking the first step. It's all about taking the first step in life, in business, in health, in community. Like anything you want to work on, you can. You don't have to stay stuck for years and years. It is up to us. It takes one person to break a generational chain of maybe
Yes.
repetition. Maybe you've grown up in this
Yes.
perfectionism or body issues, because things we didn't know a lot of things years ago that our grandmas and maybe mothers
Come on,
did.
girl.
And
That's right.
and so now it's up to us. It takes one
Yep.
person, one call, one reach out. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay there. God gave you a beautiful body and mind and soul.
Yep.
Nourish it, flourish it. Mm. You will go to places you never even dreamed of because what the beautiful thing is that our dreams are actually so small compared to like what God
God
wants
has
us
for us.
to
That's
have.
right.
It's like
Mhm.
if we knew, we would be mortified probably. We wouldn't
Yeah.
we would
Yeah.
get paralyzed like no, I can't do that. But just do the thing. You know, just jump. If you're
Yep.
listening to this, just jump and pick up the phone and reach out to RaeEllen. We're gonna um tag everything. And if you know of someone, I'm sure every person that is listening to this or that will listen to this knows at least one person. There is no such thing as the 6 degrees of separation. Like there
Right?
really is like 1 to 2, right? Like
Yeah.
you know someone or you know someone that knows someone. And
Yeah.
I think that linking arms, and this is the way that we create change, especially for the women that are coming behind us and
Yes.
lifting them up as well. So, any last thoughts, Rayon?
Yes. No, I think that wraps it up beautifully. And I'm just like grateful for your time today and your friendship. And I just appreciate being able to come on here and talk about, if this is for a woman who's in her 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, like to get that freedom at whatever age that looks like. I think a beautiful thing that popped into my head while we've been talking is we do have separate communities in the app. If it's a mom and a daughter, I talk
Mm.
to a lot of moms or daughters who say, like, oh, I learned this from my mom, or I'm scared to pass this down to my daughter, whatever that looks like. We're just open and holding space and like ready to, wrap our arms around you and support you. And I love you. I've always said my whole life, I was born to love people. If I could just have a job where I love people all day, and, that's what
Aw,
we're doing here at the table. So,
I love that. Well, you're definitely born to love. I remember the first time I met you, we just kind of connected and clicked,
yeah.
and I think that there's such power in a smile and in welcoming people, and um, everybody wants to be seen, heard,
Yes.
acknowledged, and for sure loved. So,
Yes.
if you need any of those, you know where to reach out. Ray Allen's your girl. I'm your girl. You could always reach out, leave us a
100%.
comment. And thank you again, Ray. We didn't even dive into your business and all the brilliant things that you do to help others. But we'll have to come back for another episode on your business because that is a whole other, I think, really important thing that I actually have people in my network that own either, behavioral homes or sober living homes and
Yeah.
things like that, that it is also a remarkable business. And there's a lot of people that could use some really good support. So they're running great programs.
Yeah.
And so you are a multifaceted, talented woman, my friend.
Thank you, Brad. You too. Like
Uh,
attracts like.
Yes. Well, thank you for listening to another episode of Empire Builder Unfiltered, and we will see you on the next episode. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Empire Builder Unfiltered. If this episode spoke to you, hit follow, leave a review, and share it with another entrepreneur who's building big. Want more unfiltered truth and strategy to scale? Follow me on my socials, my website, and check the show notes for links, resources, and next steps to work with me. Remember, your empire won't build itself. Keep going, keep growing, and don't forget, you were made for this. Catch you on the next one.